I used to work as a deckhand on a commercial fishing boat out of a small port in Alaska. The boat was called North Star. There were 4 of us on board: Captain Ellis, my friend Jordan, a quiet guy named Mateo, and me. We spent most of our time about 40 miles offshore, where the water gets deep enough that the sonar can't even see the bottom clearly anymore. When you're that far out, the ocean feels different. Darker. Heavier. Like you're floating above something that's awake. But nothing weird had ever happened to us. Until the night the sonar started picking something up. It was around 1:30 in the morning. Jordan was checking the sonar screen in the cabin while I was outside on deck smoking. Then he suddenly opened the door and said, "Hey, come look at this." On the screen was a shape. Something big. Really big. It was about 60 feet under the boat. At first we assumed it was a whale. But whales move slowly across the sonar. This thing stayed directly under us, matching our speed, for almost 10 minutes. Captain Ellis frowned and said, "Probably just curious. But the thing is, whales eventually leave. This one didn't." For the next 2 hours, the sonar kept showing the same shape. Always below us. Always the same distance down. It didn't swim away. It didn't come closer. It just followed. Eventually Mateo joked, "Maybe it likes the boat." But nobody laughed. Something about it felt wrong. Then Jordan zoomed in on the sonar image. And that's when things got quiet. Because the shape wasn't smooth like a whale. It had long extensions. Like arms. Or legs. Around 3 a.m. we shut down the engines to reset the navigation system. The ocean went completely silent. No engine. No propeller. Just waves. And wind. Then we heard something hit the hull. Not like a fish. More like someone knocking on the side of the boat. We all looked at each other. Then it happened again. This time from the other side. Something was circling us. And hitting the boat. From underneath. Captain Ellis grabbed a spotlight and stepped outside. The water was black. Like ink. He slowly moved the beam across the surface. At first we saw nothing. Then the light caught something floating just beneath the water. A pale shape. Too pale, almost white. Then it moved. And the beam followed it. What surfaced beside the boat wasn't a whale. And it wasn't any animal I've ever seen. It had a long body, maybe 30 feet visible above the water. But the worst part was the arms, long, thin, jointed in the wrong places. They clung to the side of the boat like fingers. And then the head came up. It wasn't shaped like a fish, but stretched. Too tall. Too narrow. Its eyes reflected the spotlight like glass. And when it opened its mouth, it smiled. Captain Ellis screamed and backed away. One of the arms suddenly lifted out of the water and slammed onto the deck railing. The metal bent like it was nothing. Jordan ran for the cabin. Mateo grabbed a flare gun. The creature started pulling itself higher. Water poured off its body. It was climbing onto the boat. Mateo fired the flare directly at its head. The flare hit its face and exploded into red light. For a second, we saw the entire thing clearly. It was easily 60 feet long. And its skin wasn't skin. It looked like something that had never been exposed to sunlight. Gray. Translucent. Wrong. The creature shrieked, a sound that vibrated through the hull, and dropped back into the water. The arm slid off the deck. Then it vanished beneath the surface. The sonar screen went blank. Whatever it was gone. We didn't say much after that. At sunrise we headed straight back to port. No one wanted to talk about it. But before we reached shore, Jordan checked the sonar logs. And he noticed something strange. The creature had appeared when we crossed a certain point in the ocean. A trench. A very deep one. Over 3 miles down. And right before the sonar lost the signal. The last reading showed something that still gives me chills. Because the creature didn't swim away. It didn't dive deeper. The sonar showed it directly under the boat again. Just before disappearing. Like it was still there. Waiting. Watching us from the dark water below. I quit the job a week later. But sometimes at night I still think about that last sonar image. Because the screen didn't just show one shape. Right before the signal vanished, there were 3 more rising from the trench, following us.